COVID-19, my battle with the pandemic. Sunday, November 29th, I was watching a football game, draped in my face mask, when I experienced my first episode of a cough, as if I had choked on a sip of water. By the time I returned home, I'd started to feel oddly cold, compelling me to a warm bath later against my personal preference. I hesitantly woke up on Monday morning to a cold bath with a strange headache. Shortly after arriving at work, I dashed out to a pharmacy where I bought myself 4 tablets of paracetamol, Panadol Extra, on the advice of a senior coworker. Eventually, the headache subsided, but again I was mildly coughing, as if in the process of ingesting my tablets, I had choked on water. I sailed through the day, walked myself home, feeling a bit coldish with joints starting to ache. An early evening warm bath soothed my cold self. By Tuesday morning, December 1st, I felt too weak to go to work. I wasn't coughing, but I'd had a temperature overnight and aching joints while my self-medicated headache had returned. Given my symptoms over the last 36 hours or so, I had become suspicious that I had contracted the disease, COVID-19. Time check was about 9:30 a.m. when my boss called, wondering whether I was going to show up for work. I hadn't communicated my sudden absence, my bad. I'm sick, I said in response to her inquiry. She then advised that I go to the local health facility, a government health center for a COVID-19 test, given my interaction with clients at work. And for the sake of broader context, I had been to town on Friday. This would be my second test since the outbreak. After waiting for other patients that were already to access the lab, I took the test. It was quick and painless, unlike my first, after answering the doctor's questions about my personal details and the signs and symptoms. In the meantime, is there anything I can do to alleviate my signs and symptoms? I asked the doctor. Take lemon water and vitamin C, he advised. Another trip to the pharmacy and bought vitamin CS, Catifen for my dry cough that had crept back, as well as paracetamol for the headaches and joint pains before retreating to my modest cottage. I braved through Tuesday and delightfully spoke to Mom on phone. On Wednesday evening, December 2nd, at around 9:45 p.m., my boss broke the news over the phone. I had tested positive for COVID-19. The end of that phone call delivered the first punch of concern as it slowly and worryingly sunk in that I had tested positive. Although my intuition had already served the news of a positive test, a part of me was still praying that my suspicions be wrong. It was now official that I had entered into self-isolation, an illness-imposed imprisonment of a sort. Earlier that evening, Wednesday, I had made a quick and cautious trip to the trending center to buy some roadside chips for supper, more lemons and ginger as well as garlic. The chips tasted like crap. The fried eggs were overly salty. My taste was already sleeping away, my sense of smell starting to become unrecognizable, and the appetite was non-existent at best. It was a long night, during which I silently gave myself the pep talk of, "You can fight this. You will beat it." And as a football enthusiast, reflected on the words of Zlatan Ibrahimovic when he said, "The virus has challenged me, and I won. I too will win," I thought to myself. On Thursday morning, my boss kindly delivered a pack of fruits, oranges, a cluster of yellow bananas, 3 pineapples plus lemons, and medicines that included zinc and vitamin CS. Garlic and ginger, as well as silverfish, were part of the wholesome package. I made concoctions of warm water, garlic, ginger, and lemons. A cup in the morning and another in the evening, and swallow my tablets as prescribed. If you stay alone like me, the disease can be depressing in a way, wondering whether you're going to beat it or you will succumb to it like others. Only this time, lonely inside the walls of your rental. Weeks earlier, I had mourned a friend's dad, who according to the doctors had partly succumbed to it. Knowing that didn't help much. Knowing that there's no well-defined cure or medication for the virus also only served to further deepen my worries and concern. If I was in a boat, it was sinking and fast. Laying on my carpet in the living room, I was thoughtful, mostly about my mother who I haven't seen a while, and whether I was going to die before completing and publishing my memoir. And for someone to whom money is perpetually tight, I pondered about how I was going to pay the bills, cover all necessities, and buy all these fruits being recommended if I wasn't working. Days were longer, and nights much longer, as I sometimes struggled to catch my full breath and sweated like I'd been running, yet it was night and still felt cold at the same time. I had deliberately kept the news to myself not to alarm my loved ones, but subsequently told a few, about 2 people. As I fought my battle, a call from a longtime friend, name withheld for privacy reasons pertaining health, who was asking me to tend to my email, was the difference. While we discussed the opportunity he was pointing me at, it came up that he had battled the illness himself a couple of weeks back. He spoke mildly about his personal battle, saying, "Eat lots of fruits and take the concoctions and you'll be good to go." I'm not sure whether he didn't want to worry me any more than I already was, or his battle had been a bit easier. Either way, it was a great relief to hear, a reason to fight with belief, knowing that you can win this, taking it from a person that's been in your position before. Parting notes. You don't want to get it if you stay alone because it can be psychologically draining. And you don't want to get it if you stay with other people because you'll be putting them at risk too. Trust me, you don't want to find out how it feels being in that position. Wear your mask, sanitize, and wash your hands whenever you can, even when it may be inconveniencing in that particular moment. It could be the moment that saves you or the ones you're often in contact with. Eat a fruit whenever you can afford it. Make ginger a part of your tea life. Keep lemons and garlic close, even when you're not a fan of it like I am. Although I learned about this much later, steaming also helps. Stay safe. Hi everyone, this is Robert K. Circles. Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast today. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen. I hope you enjoyed this story. If you did, I'd be incredibly grateful if you could take a moment to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. Give us a like on your favorite podcast platform. Leave a comment letting us know what you thought. We love hearing your feedback. And if you know someone who might enjoy the show, please share it with them. Your support means the world to me and helps us reach more listeners. Thanks again for being a part of the Robert K. Circles community. Until next time, take care.